Today, we are going to talk about why Neil and I are thinking about getting office space again. So just for some context, this is being released in 2023, basically. So I believe this is going to be the first, or no. This is the 31st of the 2022 of December. But so in the new year, we're thinking about getting office space again. So Neil, you want to start first?
Yeah, a lot of people say office space is like useless, but like I think there's something about getting together with people and really just cranking on the business and making it grow. And for me, I'm based in Vegas. Most of my team is spread out all over the world, and we're continually expanding and adding more people throughout the whole country. And I think it would be really good if I had a place like in Vegas or somewhere where a lot more people could just come fly into my co-founder and I and just help us brainstorm, or we can all together brainstorm and figure out ways to grow more. And I know you can do a lot of this stuff on Zoom, but we do in-person quarterly meetings. And I have to say, it's really different and it's much better in person than when we do it all over Zoom.
Yeah, I don't think you can schedule creativity. And it's just like, let's say if Neil and I get in person, you actually, the velocity of ideas or the things that you're talking about is actually really quick. And then you get things done faster, which is why I think a quarterly cadence with your leadership team, if you have one, is important. That in-person, those in-person touch points are super important. And I remember that we had interviewed someone on this podcast. He runs a company called Entrepreneurs First, which is kind of like Y Combinator before the founders meet each other. It's kind of like training founders up, and they help them find co-founders, and then they invest in them. And they found, pre-pandemic, when they were getting people together, this was a cohort for 90 days and the co-founders were hanging out with each other. And then during the pandemic, when everyone was working remotely and it was all Zoom meetings, most of the startups fell apart because they didn't really have true camaraderie. And then what they found after as we're coming out of the pandemic, that having the people meet at least 12 to 14 days out of the year, that actually builds a true relationship. And when you have a true relationship, when you have that rapport, you're also able to get things done faster, and you're able to rely on each other more. So I'm a big proponent of in-person. Even though Neil's actually an extrovert and I'm an introvert, I believe that nothing replaces in-person, and having that space for creativity. Let's say I was talking about, if I'm going to be moving back to LA, having an office space, when Neil comes to LA, we can be recording there. We can be talking about stuff. Or when I go to Vegas, we can do the same thing as well. And I just think, in-person is going to be coming back stronger than ever.
Yeah, I think in person is going to be huge. It's going to be coming back really strong. We find it's just so much productive to me at least once a year with some of the teams in person. Some of them you may only want to end up meeting, call it once a quarter. Some of them you want to meet, twice a year, or some once a year, depending on what they're focusing on and how much help they really need. But we found it to really help overall.
Yep. And by the way, we're not saying, Neil was just showing me like some really nice office space before we started recording. We're not saying you need to go all out. Like, it would certainly be really nice, but I think everyone's going to be able to find some really good deals, especially because, commercial leases are really coming down. And I should rephrase, I don't think it's going to come back necessarily stronger than ever, but I do think it's going to be making a strong push to Neil's point. So anything else, Neil?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will catch you later.